Maggie Klein, welcome to the Breakfast Nook. So, what is it like to work at Wizards of the Coast? Making a video that's going to get me not be able to be hired back at Wizards of the Coast, but honestly, working at Wizards of the Coast was fun. First of all, you're working with products that, well, if you play Magic, you use not every day, but you use all the time. I worked on Gatherer, and I worked on the tournament organizing system. So the first thing when I got to Wizards was I was introduced to my manager, and yes, you have a manager. I had a manager for my quality team that I was on because I'm a quality assurance engineer, and also I had a manager on the team that I was embedded in. So team names are kind of interesting. Instead of just being like team payments or team platform, each team is named after a famous Magic character or D&D famous character. So I worked on Team Ugin, Vraska, and Venger. Venger was the quality team, and Ugin and Vraska were the teams I were embedded on. And they were cool because also we named all sprints after a Magic card. So at random we would pick a Magic card. For a while we were using my selection of Magic cards, and we even had a sprint named Kurde after I picked it. So it adds a sense of fun because you're using famous characters. I mean, who wouldn't want to work on Team Ugin? Actually, you don't want to work on Team Ugin because it's a hard slog. So now your day-to-day activities at Wizards for me was coding because I'm a QA and I was hired as a software developer, engineer, and test, a senior one at that matter, and I had a junior under me who reported to me. So while I was there for Team Ugin, I created a bunch of stuff to test Gatherer. I even created the first automation framework that tests Gatherer, so it validates cards, which then my junior further expanded upon and made better. Now, programming-wise, we followed standard procedures in the industry's best practices. So we had sprints, we had tasks, we had stories, and we had a product manager, also called a producer, who ran the whole show, and we had the standard sprint events, which are like planning, backlog grooming, and retrospective. Retrospectives were always fun because we did them with an app. Now, I never had any complaints about access to tools because I was given unlimited access to tools. So I had a great time working on my projects. I was given basic direction by my manager, and then I would implement his vision. And then I would also direct the junior to also assist in that vision. And often I would come to my manager and be like, I want to do this. And my manager would be like, okay, do that. Which was actually quite rare in Wizards of the Coast because actually there's always a problem with budgets. So Wizards always was cutting budget short, and that was always a problematic. However, since I was kind of like a free agent, I was allowed to do a lot of things that I wanted to do that would enhance the product. For example, creating the Gather automation tool, which allowed us to automate fully testing Gatherer. Yes, it was done manually before I came on board. Now it's done all automated, which is awesome because it caught more bad bugs in Gatherer and has reduced the issues in Gatherer. And it's a very complicated tool. There were a lot of teams in Wizards that we interacted with, but in my day-to-day, I didn't interact much with other teams other than I interacted with R&D to get card set lists and stuff like that, and also ban lists and all the other files that were necessary to test the various different changes to the Magic thing, because there's constantly new sets coming out. So we would constantly get new files for each new set, and then we test against that file. And we also constantly had bans, and also rule changes came in frequently too. Well, towards the end of my stay at Wizards, I was transferred over to the Vraska team, which is the tournament organizing tool, which has an incredibly strong team that has developed an incredibly strong team with strong testing. I did the performance testing on it. Yes, they do know there's a performance issue with it, and they are working on that performance issue. And I was creating the tests to show that the performance was poor. I also did it for Gatherer 2, and we were able to get some savings in performance, and also the team was actively looking into performance. Politically wise, my manager kept me immune from the politics. However, there were a lot of politics. I heard a lot from my upper echelon about just the politics, the disagreements, the arguments, and Wizards is management heavy. I had a director with another director for most of my career. That had switched to a vice president and then a director after the director on top of the director left the company. And I also had 2 managers that I reported to at all times. I had the manager in Ugin who I reported to, and I had the manager in the QA team who I reported to all the time, which meant double standard duties. However, this is not uncommon for QAs to have 2 managers. It sounds kind of weird, but the reality is you report to a QA manager who has the QA in mind and comes up with the designs and stuff like that, and then you report also on a team that you then embed in and work with. So I have to say, working at Wizards was fun. It was wonderful. Now, did everyone enjoy working at Wizards? I don't know. I didn't hear much complaining. And work pace was fast, but it wasn't super fast. So we weren't always like rushing out the gate. There were some political issues in Ugin that did affect me. We had one of the managers was kind of not very good, and she caused a lot of headaches for me. But I was able to ignore it and push through. Overall, I have to say working at Wizards was fun. I enjoyed my time. I consider it my best job I ever had. And if you get a chance to work for Wizards, take it. However, again, your mileage may vary because I had a very strong, good QA manager who protected me and backed me up, who's no longer with the company. So I'm reporting to a manager who I'm not sure would be the same quality as my previous manager was. And when I was Veresk, I had an incredible manager embedded on that team who was very good at directing and leading and also worked closely with me on the performance. So yes, Wizards is a great place to work, and I had a lot of fun.